Some people travel to check places off a list, but the best way to understand a city is simply to walk for a while. This is Vilnius. There are a few things that shape how you experience a city, like walkability, how it feels to move through the streets, street life, the rhythm of everyday life, and places to pause where the city lets you breathe for a while. Those things together, that's the Travel Without Chaos Index. 3 dimensions, each one scored out of 5. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how Vilnius scores. Vilnius is smaller than you might expect for a capital, compact enough to cover on foot, but arranged in a way that keeps surprising you as you move through it. And as you start walking, you recognize different parts of the city, not by name, but by how they feel. Cathedral Square and Gediminas Avenue, the natural spine from the medieval heart of the city all the way out to its wider, more open side. Long, gradual and easy to follow. Pilya Street and the Old Town, narrow, older, this is where the side streets pull you off in both directions. The kind of walking where you lose track of time without losing your bearings. And Utsupis, across the river, a neighborhood with its own particular character. If you start with these, Vilnius is easy to get to know. Vilnius feels like a city that was planned for walking and actually built that way. The proportions are almost always right. Streets wide enough to move through comfortably, but not so wide that they lose their sense of enclosure. And the activity at street level, shops, cafes, people moving slowly, gives the walking a reason to continue. Traffic has been kept to the edges of where it matters most. There are few points where a pedestrian has to negotiate with a car. The city gives you the space and lets you use it. The Old Town operates at a different scale, narrow, more contained. The cobblestones slow you down. The buildings close in just enough to make every street feel like it's leading somewhere worth going. But what you notice after a while is how rarely the city feels unwelcoming. There's almost no dead space, no stretch where the walking becomes something to get through rather than something to do. Vilnius doesn't just permit walking, it encourages it. Here are a few places worth knowing for walking. Cathedral Square to Gediminas Avenue, the natural spine of Vilnius, from the medieval center out to the wider city. Easy to follow and rewarding the whole way. Or start walking from Gates of Dawn down through the Old Town's smaller streets without a plan. You'll find yourself making unplanned turns and not minding it at all. And for a different register, from the central station along Pilya Street to Gediminas Avenue, it's a wider, quieter approach that gives you another side of the city. The street life in Vilnius is relaxed. People move through the city, sometimes with a particular destination, but sometimes just to be part of the city. And that's a difference you feel. Pilia Street is the spine of it. You might expect a street running through the tourist zone of a Baltic capital to feel performed, all atmosphere with no substance. But Pilias doesn't quite do that. There's a genuine mix of people on it. Visitors, yes, but also locals going about their day. Both layers at once, and the streets host them without separating them. There's a covered market near the station, local with stalls, small cafes and a mix of people who come there knowing what they're looking for. It doesn't have the grand scale of Riga's central market, but it feels very genuine and local. And the area around the station carries a raw version of the city, less polished, more everyday. It's worth a walk if you want to understand Vilnius beyond the old town. Here are a few places worth knowing for street life. Pilia Street, the old town's main street, more layered than it looks. Tourist area, but with enough everyday life mixed in that it doesn't feel like one. The covered market halls near the station, local, direct and worth finding. And the area around the station itself, if you want a less polished version of the city. Vilnius is generous when it comes to pausing, and it's something structural, not just decorative. The Benedin Garden is maybe the most obvious one, and it earns it. It's green and quiet and right at the edge of the old town. Gediminas Avenue offers a different kind of pause, a boulevard rather than a park, with benches placed all the way along it. You sit down and the city moves past you. That combination, with the trees framing the space, the rhythm of the people, the openness, makes it one of the more pleasant places in Vilnius just to stop for a while. And there are more parks and green spaces in the city, because Vilnius has understood that green space isn't an addition to urban life, it's part of the structure. Here are a few places worth knowing, for places to pause. Benedin Garden, the city's most natural pause, green and active, right at the old town's edge. Gediminas Avenue, find a bench, sit down and let the city move past you. And Reformator Park for a quieter version, the kind of place that holds you without trying. So, what's the score for Vilnius on the Travel Without Chaos Index? For walkability, 5 out of 5. Vilnius is built for walking, not in theory, in practice. The proportions are right almost everywhere, and traffic has been kept back. Gediminas Avenue shows what a boulevard can be when it's done properly. There's very little dead space, and the city encourages you to keep moving, and then gives you reasons to stop. For street life, 4 out of 5. The relaxed quality of how people move through Vilnius is real. It's not performed, not staged. Pilja Street holds both visitor and everyday life without either displacing the other. The market halls add a local layer, and the station area adds a raw one. For places to pause, 5 out of 5. The benches along the avenue, the garden at the old town's edge, the meadows by the river, the trees that line the streets. Vilnius has understood that a city needs places to land, and it's built them in. Vilnius is one of the more complete cities I've walked through, and it's such a nice place. Have you been here? Or do you live here? I'd love to hear.